Look, I get that moms are supposed to have your back, but mine's been acting like she's auditioning for a heist movie. I'm 26, living in a co-op greenhouse community, think less hippie commune, more nerds obsessed with sustainable tomatoes. It's a weird setup, but I love it. Except now my mom's convinced I'm one kale smoothie away from financial ruin and keeps demanding access to my bank account to help. I said no. Hard no. She called me ungrateful, and now my phone's blowing up with guilt trip texts. The kicker? I'm starting to wonder if I'm the jerk for shutting her down when she's claiming it's for my own good. I moved to Greensprout Co-op a year ago after burning out at a soul-sucking call center job. The co-op's this quirky experiment in the middle of nowhere, Oregon. 30 of us live in converted shipping containers, grow heirloom veggies, and barter skills like it's a post-apocalyptic Etsy. I'm the resident beekeeper, which sounds cool but mostly means I get stung a lot and smell like honey. My savings are modest, about $8,000 from scrimping, but it's enough for my share of co-op fees and the occasional splurge on artisanal coffee beans. Life's good, mostly because I'm finally in control. My mom, though? She's a retired accountant who treats money like it's her fifth child. She's always been intense, think spreadsheets for grocery budgets and lectures about compound interest at Christmas. Since I moved here, she's been side-eyeing the co-op like it's a cult. She calls it that dirt farm and texts me articles about failed communes. Last month, she drove up for a visit, took one look at my container home, which, okay, has a leaky roof, and declared I was living like a squatter. I laughed it off, but she wasn't joking. Things got weird 2 weeks ago. We were video chatting, her in her pristine condo, me in my bee suit, fresh from checking hives. Out of nowhere, she goes, "You need to add me to your bank account. I'll manage it for you." I blinked, thinking I misheard. Manage what? I asked. She leaned closer to the screen, all serious, and said, "Your money. You're not equipped to handle it out there with those plant people." I laughed, assuming it was her usual overbearing shtick, but she doubled down. Said she'd seen my bank app open once, snooping much, and noticed I'd spent $200 on fancy dirt. It was organic compost, Mom. She insisted she could optimize my savings, invest in some low-risk bonds, and keep me from blowing it all. I shut it down fast. "Mom, I'm fine. I don't need you in my account." Her face went from concern to icy. "After everything I've done for you," she hissed, "you're so ungrateful." "I'm trying to protect you." I pointed out I'm an adult, my bills are paid, and the co-op's not exactly a Ponzi scheme. She scoffed, said I was naive, and hung up. Since then, it's been a barrage of texts. "You'll regret this when you're broke. I raised you better," and, my favorite, "I'm only asking because I love you." Even my dad, who usually stays out of her crusades, emailed me to consider her feelings. The co-op's my sanctuary, but this drama's messing with my vibe. My neighbor Sage, who knits hemp socks and overanalyzes everything, thinks Mom's projecting her own control issues. But then there's Ravi, our resident chef, who says I'm being harsh. His parents share his accounts, and it's no big deal. I'm torn. On one hand, I know Mom's just worried, and maybe her accountant brain sees my lifestyle as a red flag. She did bail me out when I was 20 and maxed out my credit card on a bad laptop deal, so maybe she thinks I'm still that kid. On the other, I've worked hard for my independence, and letting her into my account feels like handing over the keys to my life. Plus, the way she's framing it, like I'm some reckless idiot, stings. The conflict exploded last weekend. Mom showed up unannounced, rolling into the co-op in her spotless Prius, clutching a manila folder like it was evidence for a trial. I was in the communal kitchen helping Sage jar honey when she marched in. "We need to talk," she said, loud enough that everyone, Ravi, Sage, even old man Carl, who's half-deaf, looked up. I tried to steer her outside, but she planted herself by the stove and launched in. "I've been researching," she said, waving the folder. "People in these co-ops go bankrupt because they don't plan. I'm not letting that happen to you." She pulled out a printout of my bank's joint account form, already half filled with her name. I lost it. "Mom, stop. I'm not signing that. My money's mine." She flinched like I'd slapped her. "I'm your mother," she said, voice shaking. "I've spent my life making sure you're safe, and now you treat me like a stranger?" Sage, trying to defuse, offered her tea, but Mom ignored her. "You're throwing away everything I taught you," she said. I snapped back, "Maybe I don't want to live like you, counting every penny." It got ugly fast. She accused me of being brainwashed by these hippies. I told her she was suffocating me. By the end, she was crying, I was shaking, and Ravi was stress-eating leftover quinoa. She left without saying goodbye, just dropped the folder on the counter like a gauntlet. Now the co-op split. Sage and most others are team me, saying Mom's overstepping, but Ravi and Carl think I was too harsh, especially since she drove 3 hours to help. My phone's still pinging with her texts, now softer but guiltier. "I just don't want to lose you. I haven't responded. I feel like garbage, but also like I had to draw a line. I'm spiraling a bit. Did I overreact? I know she's pushy, but she's my mom, and maybe she's right that I'm not the best with money. Last week I did impulse buy a $50 vintage beekeeper's hat I didn't need. But giving her access feels like surrendering everything I've built here. The co-op's my home, my hive, you know? I just want to tend my bees and not feel like I'm betraying her for it. Reddit, AITA for refusing to let her into my bank account, or should I have heard her out? Okay, I need to get this off my chest. My brother's graduating from med school next month, and I told him I'm not going. Not because I'm busy or broke, but because he's never once shown up for me, my art shows, my promotions, nada. Now my parents are losing it, calling me selfish and saying I'm ruining a milestone. But am I the jerk here? I feel like I'm just matching his energy, and the double standards driving me nuts. I'm 29, a freelance illustrator, and I live in a repurposed warehouse that's half artist collective, half chaos experiment. It's in Philly, smells like spray paint and coffee, and I share it with 5 other creatives who are basically my found family. My life's not glamorous. I'm hustling for gigs, designing stickers for vape shops one day, murals for breweries the next, but I'm proud of what I've built. My latest win was getting a piece in a local gallery show, which was a big deal for me. I spent weeks on it, posted about it on Insta, even sent my family the invite. Crickets from my brother, Derek, as usual. Derek's 27, the golden child, always has been. He's been in med school forever, and my parents act like he's curing cancer single-handedly. Don't get me wrong, I respect the grind, med school's brutal. But he's got this superiority thing, like my career's a hobby because it doesn't come with a white coat. Growing up, he'd roll his eyes at my sketchbooks, call my comics cute, and once told me I'd grow out of it. Meanwhile, my parents framed his every report card. I tried to be the bigger person, cheering him on at his undergrad graduation, sending congrats texts when he matched into residency. He never reciprocated. Not once. The warehouse is my happy place. My roommate Zara, a sculptor who's always welding something bonkers, is my hype woman. She's got this habit of blasting lo-fi beats while we work, and will vent about life over cheap wine. My other roommate, Leo, is a DJ who leaves sticky notes with doodle ideas on my easel. They both showed up to my gallery show, screaming when they saw my piece. A neon-drenched portrait of a bodega cat that sold for $400. Derek? I texted him the date. He didn't even reply. Later, he claimed he was swamped with rotations. Sure, the blow-up happened 2 weeks ago. My parents were over for dinner at the warehouse, which is rare. They're not fans of the industrial chic vibe. We were eating takeout pierogies on mismatched plates when they started gushing about Derek's graduation. It's at the convention center, Mom said. Fancy venue, black tie reception after. I nodded, picking at my food, until Dad goes, "You're coming, right? It's a family thing." I set my fork down and said, "Nah, I'm good." They froze. Mom's like, "What do you mean you're good?" I took a deep breath and laid it out. Derek's never supported me. Not my shows, not my wins. Why should I drop everything for him? It got messy fast. Mom's voice went shrill. "He's your brother. This is a once-in-a-lifetime moment." Dad jumped in, saying I was being petty, that Derek's under pressure and I should understand. I fired back. What about my pressure? I've been there for him, but he doesn't even acknowledge my work. Mom started tearing up, saying I was dividing the family. I pointed out I've gone to every family event they've asked. Derek's the one who bails on mine. Dad scoffed. "Your art shows aren't the same as a medical degree." Ouch. I told them to leave before I said something I'd regret. Derek called me the next day, pissed. "You're seriously skipping my graduation?" he said, like it was unthinkable. I kept it calm. "You've never shown up for me, man. Not once." He laughed, bitter, and goes, "I'm saving lives, and you're mad I didn't clap for your cat painting?" I snapped, "It's not about the painting. It's about you acting like I don't matter." He called me dramatic, said I was jealous of his success, and hung up. Now my parents are spamming me with voicemails, saying I'm punishing Derek and ruining their vision of a united family photo. Even my aunt texted, calling me immature. The warehouse crew's split on this. Zara's all in on my side, saying Derek's a snob and I deserve to set boundaries. She's been leaving me encouraging post-its, like your art, his ego. But Leo thinks I'm escalating too far. He gets why I'm hurt, but says skipping the graduation might burn bridges I can't rebuild. He's got a point. I don't want to nuke the family, but I'm so tired of being the one who bends. I've spent years swallowing Derek's dismissals, smiling at his ceremonies, while he treats my life like a side quest. I'm second-guessing myself now. Maybe I'm being too harsh. Derek's stressed, and med school's no joke. Maybe he doesn't have the bandwidth to care about my stuff. And my parents. They're not wrong that graduations are big. I remember how hyped I was for mine, even if it was just art school. But every time I think about going, I see Derek smirk, hear him call my work cute, and I want to scream. I just want him to see me as an equal, not some wannabe doodler. Is that too much to ask? So Reddit, AITA for refusing to go to my brother's graduation? I feel like I'm standing up for myself, but my family's acting like I'm the villain. Should I suck it up and go, or is it okay to finally put my foot down? I never thought I'd be the bad guy for protecting my kids' privacy, but here I am, getting side-eyed by my whole family. My aunt's obsessed with snapping photos of my 4-year-old daughter, Luna, without asking, constantly, and I finally put my foot down at a community stargazing event last weekend. Now she's telling everyone I'm isolating myself and acting paranoid, and my cousins are blowing up my phone saying I embarrassed her. I'm starting to wonder if I overreacted or if I'm right to draw a line. I'm 32, a single mom, and I run a small astrology-themed candle business out of my apartment in Tucson. My place is a cozy mess of wax vats, star charts, and Luna's glittery art projects. We're part of this local astronomy club that hosts stargazing nights in the desert, which is where this whole mess went down. It's a chill group, think amateur astronomers, retired science teachers, and a few quirky teens with telescopes bigger than my car. Luna loves it because she gets to stay up late and eat too many marshmallows. I love it because it's one of the few places I feel like I'm not just mom, but also like a person with hobbies. My Aunt Carla, 55, is the family's unofficial paparazzi. She's got this fancy DSLR camera and treats every gathering like she's shooting for National Geographic. She's always been extra, think loud floral dresses and a laugh that scares birds, but since Luna was born, she's laser-focused on her. At first, I didn't mind a few pics. Luna's adorable with her curly pigtails and obsession with naming stars after her stuffed animals. But Carla never asks. She'll shove her lens in Luna's face mid-tantrum or when she's got ketchup all over her, then post the photos on Facebook with captions like, "Our little superstar." I've asked her to check with me first, especially about posting because I'm careful about Luna's image online. I don't even share her face on my business Insta. Carla always nods, says, "Oh, of course, Han," then does it anyway. The stargazing nights are held at this remote desert spot with epic views of the Milky Way. Picture blankets on the sand, telescopes everywhere, and someone's always playing Fleetwood Mac on a portable speaker. Last Saturday, Luna was bundled in her unicorn hoodie, pointing at constellations with my friend Mateo, who's the sweet grad student who teaches her mnemonics like Big Dipper, Little Sipper. Carla showed up, which was weird. She's not into astronomy, but my cousin said she wanted to bond. Right away, she's circling Luna like a hawk, snapping photos. Luna's squinting, annoyed, because the camera flash is ruining her night vision. I said, "Carla, can you ease up?" She's trying to enjoy the stars. Carla waved me off. "I'm just capturing memories." It got worse. Luna fell asleep on my lap, drooling on my jacket, and I caught Carla zooming in on her face, flash on, from like 2 feet away. I snapped. "Carla, stop. You didn't ask, and she's sleeping." My voice was sharper than I meant, and a few club members glanced over. Carla lowered her camera, looking wounded. "I'm just loving on my niece," she said, all dramatic. I kept my cool and said, "I've asked you before to get my permission. You keep ignoring me." She huffed, packed her camera, and stormed off to her car. Mateo whispered, "Yikes, mama bear mode," which made me laugh, but I felt shaky. By Monday, the family group chat was a war zone. Carla posted a long rant about how I humiliated her in front of strangers and how I'm pushing family away by being so controlling. My cousins jumped in, saying I could have handled it privately and that Carla's just quirky and means well. My uncle even texted me separately, "She's got no kids, cut her some slack." My mom, who usually stays neutral, called and said I was too harsh and that family shares moments. I tried explaining my side, how it's about Luna's safety and my right to set boundaries, but Mom sighed like I was being difficult. The astronomy club's got my back, at least. Mateo says Carla's behavior is low-key creepy, and our club leader, Diane, a no-nonsense retiree who wears galaxy leggings, offered to ban cameras at the next event. But I'm rattled. Carla's been texting me sob stories about how she just wants to be close to Luna and how I'm building walls. I feel bad, she is family, and maybe I did snap too publicly. Luna adores her too, she's always asking for Auntie Carla's sparkly earrings. But I can't shake the unease of her ignoring my requests, especially when she posts Luna's pics to her 800 Facebook friends, some of whom I don't even know. I checked her page yesterday, and sure enough, there's a new album labeled Stargazing Sweetie with Luna's sleeping face. I'm livid all over again. I'm stuck. Part of me wants to apologize to keep the peace, family drama's exhausting, and I don't want Luna caught in the middle. But another part's screaming that I'm not wrong to protect her. I keep picturing Carla's camera flash in the dark, Luna's little frown, and I feel like I did what any mom would. Reddit, AITA for shutting my aunt down like that, or am I being too rigid and pushing family away like she says? I'm turning 30 next week, and I decided to throw a big bash at the roller rink where I coach part-time. It's gonna be epic, neon lights, retro tunes, and my crew doing tricks on skates. But I didn't invite my dad. Not because I forgot or we're feuding, but because every time we're in the same room he takes a sledgehammer to my career choices. Now he's saying I'm severing family ties, and my siblings are spamming me with texts calling me heartless. I'm starting to wonder if I'm the jerk for wanting one day without his judgment. I live in a small coastal town in California, splitting my time between freelance video editing and coaching kids at Roll Haven, the local roller rink. It's not a fancy life, my apartment's basically a glorified closet with a futon and a monitor setup, but I love it. Editing lets me geek out over color grading and sound design, and coaching is pure joy. Picture me teaching 10-year-olds to do crossovers while they scream about Fortnite. My birthday party's at the rink because it's my happy place. I've got my rink regulars, my editing clients, and my best friend Priya, who's bringing her famous matcha cupcakes. My dad, though? He's a retired engineer who thinks anything less than a corner office is failure. He's got this vibe like he's perpetually disappointed I didn't become a tech bro or a lawyer. I used to try explaining my work, how I cut a viral ad for a local surf shop, or how one of my kids nailed a spin move, but he'd just grunt, that's not a real job. Last Christmas, he cornered me at my sister's house and said, "You're almost 30, still playing with cameras and rollerblades. When are you gonna grow up?" I laughed it off, but it stung. He's been like this since I dropped out of college to pursue video work. Mom's chill, but she passed 5 years ago, so it's just Dad's voice on repeat. The rink's this funky relic from the 80s, with a disco ball that's probably older than me and a snack bar that smells like popcorn and regret. I booked it for my party after hours, invited 20 people, and spent way too long making a playlist with Daft Punk and TLC. I sent out EVs with a cheesy roller skate gif, but when I got to Dad's name, I hesitated. The last time he visited the rink, he called it a dead-end hobby and lectured me about wasting my potential in front of Priya. I could already picture him at the party, sipping a soda, side-eyeing my friends, and dropping lines like, "Still no 401k, huh?" So I skipped his invite. He found out last weekend. My sister Lena, who's 27 and a nurse, was helping me pick up decorations, streamers, glow sticks, the works. She asked if Dad was coming, and I said, "Nope, not this time." Her eyes got wide. "You didn't invite him? To your 30th? I explained how I just wanted one night without his career critiques, how I'm tired of defending my life. Lena got quiet, then said, "That's cold. He's gonna be crushed." I shrugged it off, but later that night Dad called. "Lena says I'm not welcome at your party," he said, voice tight. "You're cutting me out because I want better for you?" I tried to stay calm. "It's not that, Dad. I just need a break from the lectures." He snapped, "You're throwing away family over your ego." Then he hung up. Now it's a mess. Lena's texting me essays about how Dad's just worried and how excluding him is petty. My brother Milo, 22 and still in college, says I'm making it harder for everyone by stirring drama. Even Priya, who's usually my ride or die, thinks I could have invited him and just told him to cool it. But the rink crew's on my side. My assistant coach, TJ, who's got a mohawk and a heart of gold, says Dad sounds like a buzzkill and I deserve to celebrate my way. I checked Dad's Facebook yesterday and he posted some cryptic quote about kids who forget where they came from. Subtle. I'm torn. I know 30's a big deal and maybe I should have given him a chance to behave. He's not a monster, he paid for my first camera when I was 15 even if he grumbles about it now. And yeah, he's lonely without mom, which makes me feel like a jerk. But I'm so sick of his voice in my head telling me I'm not enough. I just wanted one night to skate, laugh, and feel proud of my weird, scrappy life. Now I'm picturing him sitting home alone, stewing while I'm spinning under the disco ball. Reddit, AITA for not inviting my dad to my birthday? I thought I was protecting my peace, but everyone's acting like I'm torching the family. Should I suck it up and invite him, or is it okay to want this one day for myself? I'm not trying to be the family dictator, but my sister's new boyfriend is like a human wrecking ball at our weekly dinners and I finally had enough. Last Sunday, I pulled her aside and asked her to stop bringing him because he's so blatantly rude. She flipped out, called me controlling, and now my mom's texting me about keeping the peace. I just wanted one meal without his snarky comments, but maybe I stepped over the line? I'm genuinely wondering if I'm the jerk here. I'm 34, a part-time barista and full-time true crime podcaster, living in a loft above a vintage arcade in Denver. The arcade's this neon-lit wonderland called Pixel Palace, all blinking pinball machines and claw games that eat your quarters. My family's super close, me, my sister Ellie, 29, and our mom, and we've got this tradition of Sunday dinners at my loft. It's nothing fancy. I cook badly, Ellie brings dessert, mom brings wine, and we sprawl on my mismatched couches, debating serial killer motives or laughing over old stories. The arcade's owner, Gus, sometimes joins us, sneaking us free tokens like we're kids. Ellie's always been the free-spirited one, hopping from job to job, barista, yoga instructor, now selling handmade earrings on Etsy. She started dating Nate 3 months ago and it's like she's under a spell. Nate's 31, a self-proclaimed crypto bro who works from his laptop and talks like he's auditioning for a Reddit thread. At first, I tried to like him. He's got this slick charm, all gelled hair and vintage sneakers, but it's a thin veneer. He's rude in the sneaky way, backhanded compliments, interrupting everyone and acting like he's the smartest guy in the room. The dinners used to be my recharge. I'd burn spaghetti, Ellie would bring her famous lemon tarts, and mom would overshare about her book club. But since Nate started coming, it's tense. His first dinner, he smirked at my podcast setup, mics and laptops scattered on my coffee table, and said, "True crime's so played out, you know? Everyone's got a podcast." I brushed it off, but he kept going, cutting me off mid-story to mansplain the Zodiac killer case. Mom tried to change the subject, but Nate just talked louder. Ellie just giggled like it was cute. It's gotten worse. 2 weeks ago, he told Mom her Merlot was basically vinegar and suggested she upgrade her palate. She laughed, but I saw her flinch. Last dinner, he scrolled Twitter while I was talking, then interrupted to read a meme about boomers ruining crypto. Gus, who's 60 and a total sweetheart, looked like he wanted to yeet him into a pinball machine. I kept waiting for Ellie to check him, but she just beams at him like he's Elon Musk reincarnated. I don't get it, she used to call out guys for less. Sunday was the breaking point. I'd spent all day editing a podcast episode, so I was already fried. Nate showed up late, tracking mud on my rug, and plopped down with a loud sigh, like he was doing us a favor. I served lasagna, slightly charred, but edible, and he goes, "This is why I don't eat carbs," then pushed his plate away. Ellie laughed it off, but I was seething. Mid-meal, he started arguing with Gus about NFTs, calling him out of touch and stuck in the 90s. Gus just sipped his wine, but I could tell he was hurt. I pulled Ellie into the kitchen while Mom distracted Nate with dessert. "Ellie, can you stop bringing Nate to dinners?" I whispered. "He's rude to everyone, and it's ruining the vibe." Her face went from confused to furious. "Rude? He's just confident," she snapped. "You're so controlling, trying to dictate who I date." I was floored. "It's not about you dating him," I said. "It's about him insulting Mom, Gus, me, everyone." She rolled her eyes. "You're just jealous because I'm happy." Then she stormed back to the table, grabbed Nate, and left without a word. Mom looked like she'd aged 10 years. Now it's a dumpster fire. Ellie's barely speaking to me, just sending passive-aggressive texts like, "Guess I'll stay home next Sunday." Mom called, begging me to apologize so we can keep the family together. She says Nate's just adjusting and I should give him a chance. Even Gus, who's usually team me, thinks I could have been gentler, maybe talk to Nate directly. But I tried that once. After the wine comment, I texted him to chill with the jabs and he just replied with a shrug emoji. A shrug emoji. The arcade crew's got my back. My co-host Priya, who sometimes crashes dinners, says Nate's a walking red flag and Ellie's in denial. But my cousin Tara, who heard about it through Mom, thinks I'm being too hard on Ellie, that I should have let her figure Nate out herself. I'm starting to doubt myself. Maybe I was too blunt, or maybe I'm overreacting because I'm protective of our dinners. I know Ellie's head over heels and I don't want to push her away. But I can't unsee Nate's smirk, the way he dismisses us, or how Ellie just lets it slide. I checked her Etsy page yesterday, and she's selling a new moonstone love necklace. Probably inspired by him. Barf. I'm stuck. I want my sister back. But I can't keep biting my tongue while Nate steamrolls our nights. I keep picturing next Sunday. Me burning another dish, Mom forcing a smile, and no Ellie because I opened my big mouth. Reddit. AITA for telling my sister to ditch her boyfriend at dinners? I thought I was standing up for our family, but now I'm wondering if I'm the one tearing it apart. Should I apologize or hold my ground?